Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today, I borrowed this 2021 Chevrolet Equinox LT from my friends at Red River Chevrolet. And I'll list the trim levels of the Equinox on the screen and their base prices so you can get an idea at least of where the pricing should start if this happens to be a vehicle that you are interested in. The Equinox was first introduced during the 2004 year as a 2005 model and received its most recent refresh in 2018. The exterior color on this model is silver ice metallic. The interior is called ash gray. Quite a sporty looking interior to say the least. And as far as competition goes, well, the Honda CR-V and the Ford Escape are some of the competitors to the Equinox. And as you look over the front end, over the years, of course, as Chevrolet has updated their vehicles and changed the look, you'll notice that it has a very similar look to the Chevrolet Traverse, obviously a little bit smaller, but a somewhat similar look. HID headlights mean seeing after dark or early in the morning is not going to be a problem. And while it may look like the blinkers would be right here, as you can see most likely on the screen, I'll give you a better shot of that. They're actually located down here on the lower portion of the bumper. Overall, a pretty sporty look, I must say. Let's talk a little bit about what's under the hood of this particular model. If you're looking to save money on gas, maybe you have a really long commute, well, the Equinox is not something that will hurt in that area by any means. This is the 1.5-liter turbocharged four-cylinder, 170 horsepower, 203 pound-feet of torque. Gas mileage comes in at an estimated 26 miles per gallon city, 31 on the highway, a combined total of 28, 6-speed automatic transmission. And you do have two options. As far as the drive type goes, you've got front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And if you'd like to step up to a little bit more horsepower, there is the little bit larger 2-liter turbocharged four-cylinder. I'll put the numbers on the screen as far as horsepower, torque, gas mileage, and all that good information that you probably would want to know about. As far as the wheel size goes, of course you have 17, or as this model has the upgraded 18-inch wheels. Power and heated side view mirrors. Now they are manually foldable, not power foldable, but you can fold those if you need to. And I like the fact that for under $33,000 that you have passive entry. This button right here, not only on the passenger side, but also on the driver's side. You can push that to lock and or unlock the interior. And for those of you who might want to know, of course you've got the remote here, keyless entry, all that good stuff, push button start, and two of the great features here, everything you would expect, but you also have the ability to open and close the power rear lift gate, and you have remote start, so a very nice feature. Now just real quick, in case you have any safety concerns, yes, when you have the remote on your person, you can lock and or unlock the interior with the passive entry, that button right there on the door handle. You might say, well, what is to keep somebody from walking up when I'm sitting in the middle of traffic or in a parking lot and trying to carjack me or something like that? The remote being in the vehicle senses that, so as long as the interior is locked and the remote is inside the vehicle, nobody can just walk up and open the doors. So a very good safety feature already built in, so nothing to worry about in case anybody wonders. And of course, as you would expect, you're going to have that rear roof spoiler to help channel air over the window back here, the rear window, as you're driving down the road, trying to keep that nice and clean so it's easy to see out of. Of course, when it's raining or when that window is dirty when you first get in the morning, if it's been sitting outside overnight, especially when everything is being coated by pollen like it is right now. By the way, guys, if you think all I do is create and edit videos, I do a little bit more than that. This was practically a yellow vehicle. Maybe not that bad, but it did have a lot of pollen on it. As you can see, I actually ran the hose over it, just kind of rinsed it off before I brought it over here. So, like I said, you got the remote, hit the button twice, you're going to open that power rear lift gate. Talk a little bit about cargo space, which you have a reasonable amount, and you can maximize that via a couple of releases here on the passenger side of the rear cargo area. allowing you to fold those seats down. You also have the cargo mat down here to protect the carpet if you're hauling something that maybe has some dirt or some sand in it, whatever it is. Anything that could get that carpet dirty in the interior back here, that's protected. Very easy to take advantage of that, easy to clean that off too, as it's just basically kind of a plastic material. Very flexible and easy to use. Also, you've got some storage underneath the floor. Speaking of underneath, if you've ever said, I'd like to know what the underside of an Equinox looks like, without having to put it on a lift or have somebody make a really bad decision on the road and turn it upside down, here you go. This is what the underside of an Equinox looks like. So maybe I satisfied some of your curiosity with that. Okay guys, let's talk about rear seat and space as far as your rear seat passengers go. Let me sit straight up here. You know, the head space back here, the headroom is not that bad. Not being a full size especially, not gonna have as much headroom, but it's still very reasonable back here. Gonna have some storage on the doors with the door bins, map pockets on the back of the seats. Of course, you've got those fold-down armrest, not those, there's only one, but the fold-down armrest and those cup holders, kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit there. And of course, dual air conditioning vents, and being that this is only dual zone climate control, dual zone in the front, you don't have any adjustments back here, but you do have the air conditioning vents and connectivity via a couple of USB ports down here. And on the very bottom of the console down there is a power outlet if you ever need to power a tool or maybe some kind of a small compressor to put air on a tire or whatever the case may be. A lot of potential options there, but nice to have something like that in a vehicle like this, something you might not have expected to see. Okay guys, let's talk about the front seat, specifically the driver's seat here and what the driver's going to find. One thing I like here is you have one touch windows here as far as lowering. All four are one touch on all four doors. The only one that's one touch to raise it back up is the driver's side, but still a very nice feature. All of your controls for the headlights down here on the left-hand side where you would expect those to be. Of course, like I said, you got those power heated side view mirrors, so easy to adjust. Very nice color display for the instrument cluster here. And on the rear of the steering wheel, you can control volume and the station that you and your passengers are listening to. Very nice, convenient feature. They're nothing new, but it is there. Steering wheel mounted controls, of course. You can surf through quite a bit of information here on the dashboard, depending on what you want to look at. So all you got to do is use the arrow keys to do that. Everything's very easy to figure out. And even though it's pretty warm today, in the high 70s, this air conditioning unit is putting out quite a bit of cool air. I've got it turned up to 66 degrees right now. And the good thing is that you can sync these together so that when you adjust the temperature on the driver's side, it also adjusts the same in the passenger side, passenger compartment, and the rear area as well. Of course, you can turn that off also if you wish to. Heated driver and passenger seats here in the front. Again, something you might not expect at the price point of this particular model, but yet it is there. And Chevrolet's infotainment system. Quite a few nice features there. You can go into settings. You've got teen driver mode, valet mode. You can turn a lot of features and functionality off and back on. Whatever you want to do, Wi-Fi hotspot, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. The list is pretty long of the features here. And of course, even though you've only got one view, you do have the rear view camera. So when you put this model in reverse via the shifter down here, it's going to come on. Very nice, clear picture. And if you had wireless charging, it would be located right up here. You've got some more connectivity with USB ports and a 12-volt power outlet. And of course, your cup holders and the multitasking lid for the console right here. Not only does that allow you to get into the console, it's also going to double as the armrest for the driver and passenger here. And as far as what you can fit in there, you got a couple more USB ports. You could probably fit 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8 Vehicle Visionary t-shirts if you fold them just right. Okay guys, let's hop out on the road quickly for a test drive with the Equinox. And obviously, this being the smaller of the two available engine options, the 2-liter would obviously have a little more horsepower, but the 1.5-liter 4-cylinder is still not too shabby. For this size of a vehicle, it really does a good job of getting you down the road. Acceleration is not a problem, so if you're wondering, well, how is it going to accelerate when I need to get around slower moving traffic, say on a 2-lane highway, or maybe merging onto the interstate into fast moving traffic? Not going to be a problem at all. And the ride quality is really good. A lot of the time when you hop into a smaller SUV like this or a crossover, the ride can be a little choppy, but that's one thing I like about a lot of the Chevrolet vehicles that I review. They ride very well. They feel good and stable, good and planted on the road. It's a good driving experience. Steering is good and responsive. Everything is good and responsive, even the gas and the brake pedal, even though, like I say, it's not a high performance vehicle. It's not meant to be hot rodded around, but you still have the ability to get around without a problem as you need to. It's definitely not an issue when it comes to acceleration and when it comes to braking. The brake pedal is very well tuned. That might be something you never heard anyone say before, how well tuned. In fact, there you go. There's another little option that I like to point out. Good turning radius. Now, a well-tuned brake pedal, what does that actually mean? Well, what I mean by that, I'm probably the only person on YouTube to ever say that, is that it's not overly aggressive and it's not soft. It just kind of has that nice medium balance. So when you push down on the brake, you don't brake check yourself or your passengers accidentally, or feel like, oh man, these brakes are really mushy. It feels good and solid. Probably the easiest way to put it. And handling is good. You know, this isn't a full-size SUV, so you're going to have the advantages of a crossover. And when I say that, what I mean, a crossover is a car sitting at SUV ride height. That's the easiest way to describe it. And so you're going to have car-like handling and car-like ride quality. So a lot of really great benefits. And you know, I can't really make this point too many times. I'm sure some of you are probably going to tell me in the comments I said it too many times, but for something that comes in at a price of under $33,000 with the technology and all of the features and functionality that you find here in this day and age, I'd say that's a pretty good deal in every form and fashion. So overall, ride quality, great. Got to give it high marks. Handling, cargo space, the seats themselves are nice and comfortable. And I like the fact that with this ash gray interior, you kind of have a little bit of a contrast between a light and a dark gray. So if you're looking for maybe a little bit of a sporty look, well, here it is right here in this model. And of course, obviously there's a lot of different options that are available depending on your taste and whatever your desires are. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. That's a tour of the 2021 Chevrolet Equinox LT trim level. Gotta say a special thanks to my friends at Red River Chevrolet, especially Diane, the Corvette lady, for getting me the remote to this vehicle. Not the keys, but the remote. Gotta say that because it is 2021. And all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. Look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.